Hey, it's Raven. Before we drop into this, quick note. We recorded this pretty late at night while I was still getting over some congestion from my weeks-long sickness, so my voice is a little extra raspy and relaxed in this one. The conversation itself felt too honest and too good not to share, so I'm letting it exist exactly as it was in the room. With that, here's Surface Tension with Jason. Welcome to the 515 podcast. I'm Raven, and this is our first Surface Tension episode. A space for the conversations that have been building pressure under the surface for a long time. You can feel it, can't you? The shift, the pressure in today's climate. The Surface Tension sessions are a 515 deep dive with friends, family, and strangers in our community, where we stop polishing and start telling the truth. So instead of a regular interview, we've got a stack of red envelopes labeled 1, 2, and 3. They'll pick a number, I'll open an envelope, and we'll follow whatever's inside, whatever it wants to take us. Today, I'm here with Jason.
Hey.
AKA Chad from episode 9.
Oh, Chad.
Before we get started with Surface Tension, I'm going to have you introduce yourself so listeners know who's in the room with us.
What's up? It's Chad. Well, Jason, whatever. You guys will figure it out. But yeah, I'm a radio nerd. I enjoy having long, deep, strange conversations with like-minded folks such as the Raven. And I'm really looking forward to these barrage of questions or questioning that she may be subjecting me to.
I want you to know that things may get deep, but we can make it light. We can keep it light or go all in. It's okay if you need to pause or take a break. And that's for you and our listeners. It doesn't have to be all in if you don't want it to be.
I'm all in. Let's go.
Okay. Well, like I said, we have envelopes here, red, daring, glaring envelopes, 1 through 3. What number shall you choose?
Let's just start with number 3. Why not? I don't know. It seems like
yeah?
Is this the more intense ones? Is there any
I'm not
difference
telling
in
you
intense?
that.
I just have to go with it, okay?
Yeah, I'm just going to pick one. Like, I don't even know what I'm picking. Okay. If you could go back and secretly slip your teenage self one playlist, what 3 songs absolutely have to be on it? And what would you hope he hears between the lines?
Oh, God. The first one, I mean, my teenage self, and this is any song in existence, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of them, without the doubt, would have to be Beyond the Pines by Thrice.
I knew you were going to choose that.
So there's that one.
That one sticks with you so deeply.
Yeah, that one is I can't listen to it without crying. So I would probably be like, you're going to listen to this and you're going to enjoy it. And then the second one, for next 2 ones, that's where you have me stumped because I didn't even think of it. You stumped me pretty quick with that question. I mean, what's one to do? Should I go back to a classic rock song, or should I look at some new indie tune that I heard, or should I try to look back at it based on some camaraderie or some crazy wild story?
Maybe just to help you out, maybe look back on it from a standpoint of where you were when you needed the most input, like your inner child. Like, what age were you when you resonated with a song that you wish that your younger self really brought in?
I don't know. I used to listen to a lot of gangster rap when I was a young kid, so if it resonated with me because of the tone, and I don't know, I just thought it was fun, maybe.
I'm not going to lie, that's actually kind of fun because, like, I never resonated with rap, obviously. Like, we're not a part of that culture, obviously. However, there were certain tones and there were certain beats that really resonated, that like filled my soul, you know, and I was like, Yes.
And it's kind of trying to figure out, do you pick a song based on the lyrics or because it gave you a fun time, a big upbeat mood?
Right.
So, wow, that's a really good question. I mean, that's one where if I was on another podcast, this would stump a lot of people. Not that I ever been on a podcast ever, freaking Chad. But getting back to the question, so the first song we got Thrice, Beyond the Pines. Second one, I would probably say maybe Tourniquet, Marilyn Manson. That'll give you a little...
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think at that time I was already a teenager, and because I was a teenager when that song came out, it kind of had this weird resonant feel. If you've ever had your first breakup, you know, you start like getting... You wish you'd get... they get mad at you and they would beat you up more or something instead of just dumping you.
You know, it's really interesting about that song because I've always heard that song was about his first girlfriend getting pregnant or something, and he was like just fucked up over it or something. But that could be a myth. Like, I'm not a fucking...
Well, that's the thing. What's real and what's not. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's written by rock stars or even with the help of intelligent writers never really happened. They just had to sensationalize something that would otherwise have been a pretty dull event of, yeah, we got on a bus, we went 2,000 miles, we got off, we got on a stage. You know, you have to figure out what you can put in between that to make it amusing.
True, true.
So I guess Tourniquet's the second one, which is I was not expecting to pick that song. I was just trying to...
I wasn't expecting it. I like that. Yeah. I love that song, by the way. I also like the remix version. That was very dope.
The bass line is what always gets me right at that beat. All right, but I won't impersonate it for your audience.
No, please don't.
The third song...
What's the third one?
Okay, so let's see. What would mark a good thing in between all of that? Children of the Grave, Black Sabbath.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I don't even remember that one.
Oh yeah, definitely that one.
How did it go? Sing it for me. Oh, that one.
Yeah, we were listening to the vinyl at your place.
Yes, we were. Oh, my mom's vinyl. Oh god, yeah, I still have that. Like, it's ready to be played. I love that.
So you've had some time to draft some of these questions. What are your top 3 songs? What are your go-tos?
All I know is that my songs of choice are always like something from Evanescence or something from Damien Rice or Fiona Apple. Like
or Jeff Buckley. I could see something there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, actually, his version of Hallelujah I'd put in there as maybe a top 3 or 4 or 5. Yeah, absolutely.
Top fucking notch.
You can't hear that and not have like a little bit of whimpering that goes on when you hear that man's voice.
I literally wish I knew Jeff Buckley earlier than I did. I was introduced to him by my cousin in 2019, and I wish that I was introduced
way sooner. But that's how it was for all of us. We didn't know the story of Jeff Buckley until well after the tragedy. Jeff Broccoli.
I love that guy. He eats his vegetables.
So that would be one. All right. Okay. So what's next? Do we do another one or should we?
Yeah, we do another one. This was all about the men today, but we lost the cohort today, and it's okay.
Well, you're doing great with it. You're pivoting very well. You know, you got to go on the fly. That's the great thing about podcasting and radio.
And trying my best. Pick a number 1, 2, 3.
Let's try number 2. Why not number 2?
Think of a time when your body reacted before your mind could explain why. Tight chest, gut drop, going numb. Was that trauma, intuition, or both?
Wow.
How do you sort that out now?
Wow, that's so wild because it is kind of compounded where anxiety inside your body keeps like accelerating and amplifying, and if you can't control it, then you start feeling faint. You start feeling that like shortness of breath. Your blood pressure at that point is changing, so you have to sit down because you could faint. You don't want to get hurt falling. The last time that happened to me, it was after my grandmother died. We decided we were going to have a bonfire after her funeral, and I decided to eat some hallucinogenics. And
this was in Arkansas, right?
Yeah. I haven't talked on this story on the podcast
No, you
on
have
anything
not.
yet. I haven't told anybody really about
Please
it other
tell
than the
us.
people there. But it was intense because at about 45 minutes in, I started feeling it. I could feel like I was getting flush. I knew what was coming because I've experienced this before on hallucinogenics. I had to like unzip my jacket. I'm sweating. I'm trying to fan myself. I'm like, come on. And while that's going on, I'm like, I got to sit down. So I go and sit down. And as I'm sitting down, I'm starting to feel really faint. Like I'm going in the dream zone. I'm getting ready to fall asleep. And that's exactly what happens for like a split. I don't know for how long, but then I come to, and now I'm feeling my stomach is trying to expel the hallucinogenics. I tried this long to keep them down as long as I can, but now I know I'm going to blow my high. So I get up because my cousin's wife, she goes, Jason, are you okay? I mean, Chad, are you okay? And I'm like, well, of course I am, but I got to get up. And I didn't say that. I'm like, I got to puke. I got up and I ran. I ended up puking in one of my grandma's gardens.
Did you puke in her
gardens.
petunias?
No, they weren't growing yet, I don't think. But I fainted while I was there and I passed out. And I came to with me like kicking the ground. But while I was going on with that, all I could think was like how much of a disgrace she'd be looking at me right now and how upset she'd be. But I'm not done. Like, because at this point, I've blown my high. The hallucinogenics, they're still on. I'm woozy, but I decide, okay, I'm going to go back now and do it again. So I give myself about 10 minutes. I drink a little water. By now, I'm still like having really bad body temperature issues. And this is something that goes on with anxiety or fainting or having that. Your body temperature freaks out.
It's bad.
And so I tell my cousin, I just blew my high. I threw up. And he goes, you want some more? And I was like, yeah, I kind of want.
Of course.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Of course you did.
So I went back and did them, and about a half an hour later, I am stoned out of my mind. I couldn't move for 2 hours. I was staring and meditating into this fire, but during that time, I'm experiencing all the environmental conversations around me. I'm absorbing them, but I can't speak. And while that's going on, I'm still having this internal spiritual connection where I'm trying to understand things about what does my grandma want? What would she wouldn't just be disappointed. She'd have something probably funny to say that we'd all laugh about, even though it is supposed to be the Catholic guilt. But by the end of it, because I got out of it, and at the end of it, it was kind of weird because I heard a voice, and I don't know, maybe it was a feminine energy, and it said, you're already going the route and the way that you need to go. You're already doing what you need to do. You didn't need to take the mushrooms to find out. And that's where I knew she was speaking to me, and I was having some weird...
It was your grandma speaking to you?
Yeah, like at the end. And it was wild,
God.
but it's like, I look at it as just an outwardly voice. But then I look at it and I go, I'm getting this voice or this knowledge or hearing that from something that's clearly not there.
Right.
But when it's telling me it's in such a divine and motherly way, that who else could it really be? I mean... Anytime I've ever had an experience like that, it's been down on that ground, that sacred area where they live. And I mean, it was just wild. It was magical. I hope I answered your question. Yeah, it was it was at the beginning of April as when I experienced the chest pounding, faint, panic attack and everything, and then still had to endure.
It was about like being different from you are now. If you could go back, that's different. Think of a time when your body reacted before your mind could explain why. Was that trauma, intuition, or both? So, like, what is it?
God.
Like, was it all of it?
It started as trauma because I've had it happen before.
Right.
So my intuition takes hold to remind me I need to prep and do some stuff. And then there's just that other thing. Great. Yeah, that final thing that takes off.
That's really good. That's a really good point, actually. Like, I've had that a lot in the past few months from divorcing my ex-husband, where it's like the intuition actually turns into trauma and the trauma turns into intuition. And you actually go back and forth and weave into this tapestry of like a new self.
Hmm.
Wow. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's what you did. And that's what I feel like you're doing now anyway. But that's because I know you.
It works at peeling back certain layers of your personality. But when you do that, you do have to kind of expose and look at some things in your core and see that, you have trauma, or better yet, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to dig deeper and let that light out of the core that's there. I guess that would be kind of like an inner child thing where you can go back and find deep trauma. And maybe that's where you have to go when you're going into that place with anxiety, is saying, hey, I'm going to walk down these stairs and I'm going to open the door and let the kid there know, hey, I got you. Shit sucks. I get it, but we're going to help you. You're here. I got you.
Oh, shit.
It's like a weird, you go deeper to, maybe that's one of your questions in there, is reaching in for your inner child.
There are some there, but maybe you should pick another one,
Okay, yes. All right. I'm sorry. I rant really well, Raven. This is your podcast. I apologize in advance. So
no, you're good.
As long as I'm good with it. If you're good with it, I'm good with it. I like it so far. All right, give me number one. Let's see it. El numero uno. What do you got?
All right, let's dig deep. Let's go. I love how you can hear it on the mic, too. It's like ASMR for everybody. Anyway, let's see. Objectification and external validation don't just happen to women. How have you, as a man, felt objectified, whether for your body, your productivity, your paycheck, or your emotional labor?
Oh, God. Yeah, absolutely. Objectification for like doing jobs or work, not just for like past corporations and companies I've worked for, but like just being in production. It happens like that because people are always interested in, they have an idea, but you're the one that's kind of have to put in it all and help and do the legwork to bring it to fruition. So that can be a big thing where you kind of have to look and say, I'm going to say yes for as long as I can until I have to start saying no because other things are coming in.
You are the cog in the machine.
Yeah, yeah. And even then it's weird because there's a process with that. You do get chewed out and you do still feel objectified. But then for me, at least in my experience, especially earlier when I did radio and my radio career, I still had an outlook like thinking, I'm going to be okay. And you know what? It may have chewed me up and spit me out, but I don't think it's done with me yet. And then all of a sudden I was back in it again. It's so weird how that kind of happens with the, I guess don't dwell and start blaming the objectification that may have occurred. You have to be able to move past it and find peace. Kind of like, you just shrug it off.
Did you ever feel this way with a relationship? A romantic relationship?
Yeah, sure. I think you feel more objectification when you're in a hard situation with somebody in a relationship. It makes it easier to not just objectify them, but objectify yourself. So it's almost like you're trying to invite crueler behaviors or crueler things being said or happening in a weird way. I might have missed it or went over the head on that one.
No, you're totally cool.
All right.
I gave your
What
opinion.
was the third part of the question that you had on there? It was something else like
Objectification and external validation don't just happen to women. How have you, as a man, felt objectified? Whether for your body, your productivity, your paycheck, or your emotional labor?
All right. So for my emotional one, I guess that kind of goes with the intimacy.
Oh.
The objectification comes from the fact that you're not being honest in the relationship because the thing that's objectifying you is external from it. It's usually something that could be from work or, some issue going on with families arguing or friends or whatever. Self-validation. What was that? Something. That one's easier for me to explain if we want to go into anything.
Interesting about your explanation of objectification. I think it's you're taking it from the point of view, and this is my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think you're taking it from the point of view as being objectifiable, like my objectified opinion. But we're not talking about objectified or subjected or objected opinions. We're talking about objectification, which is dehumanization.
Ooh.
Like you're being turned into an object, like dance, monkey dance. We're talking about someone who just wants someone for a sex object.
Someone is just a doll, a mechanic, you know?
I think people do that in a weird way to themselves.
They can,
and that's kind of what brings on maybe that kind of a behavior or that kind of a pattern in a relationship. I don't know. I hit a wall right there at that point.
No,
it's pretty intense.
I will say that what you were saying is very spot on as well, and I agree. And I also validate you in that sense because, like, I think you're right. Like, yeah, but from that point of view in that question, it's coming from constantly being dehumanized and objectified, as women often do. Just like I told you, this guy on Snapchat last night. You know? Like he didn't see me as a person. I saw him as a person. I was like, hey, dude, I don't have people. Let's talk because it's entertaining and I got nothing to do for the 20 minutes that I'm awake. You know, like, let's talk. And he turned it into some sexual ass shit. And I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, oh, sorry, you know, like, I'm weird. I just want to piss on you. And I'm like,
yeah, it's just completely looking at you like you're an object at that point.
Yeah. Like,
that's just why the dating scene is just awful.
I
don't know, though. For me, I look at that stuff and it's like, is this really a person? And even if it is, what has gone on to where that's where you're at in your life, to where you're sending a text message like that? I mean, the thought of it being even to you or to anyone that I know or a friend, or even later on in the future, it could happen to like one of my nieces or something. I'd want to punch this guy's head off if I ever met him in real life, assuming it's a guy.
Yeah. I mean, he sent me a picture, but is that really him? I don't know.
Yeah, you know?
Like, I don't know.
If you're going to have a relationship where you say, okay, it's just going to be something like that, where it's just kind of, okay, you're going to just use each other as objects. Even when that's the case, even if you're in a dating pool where that's occurring, or you're in an age frame where you're still trying to learn how to develop, even if that's what's occurring, you still feel empty. You still feel like you're missing something. And the reason why is because what you're doing at that point is not going to fulfill whatever it is you're trying to figure out. You shouldn't lie to yourself about it and say this is what you love or this is what you want to get into. You should really probably internalize to figure out why that is. But the thought of just being in that spot and not even looking at your body as something better, of like, you know, I should treat it better as a temple. I should look better on myself. It brings better people around me when I don't have that kind of element coming around at that point. You're not going to find a normal relationship and fall in love with your soulmate if you're banging a bunch of random people that you've met off of an internet, site.
Especially if you're pissing off.
Yeah, especially if it's into the whole
like what
bathroom scene at that point.
Yeah, no, like
I would assume you have other things going on. You're not really thinking about a monogamous relationship. But
no.
I don't know if I could just billboard the message across every single person that I meet on the internet or see as a potential contact. And that just, it seems like it's inviting a bad element in, no matter which way you look at it.
No, it really is. And it's just, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I just wish people would be more authentic. Or maybe these people are being authentic and that's why you can rule them out. You know, like, I don't know. But I just think, like, what the fuck is wrong with society? That I get a random message on Snapchat. And first of all, I know people are going to be like, well, it's Snapchat. What do you expect? You know, I don't give a fuck about that because I didn't go on Snapchat for one night stands. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I went on there for networking and talking to my friends in a weird dynamic sort of way.
Well, it was, the disposable media. It would messages that disappear and stuff.
Which I don't even like. I always like to save my chats for 24 hours. You know, like I save them forever. And like I'm on Snapchat because of the dynamic. Like you can do video, you can do filters, you can do text, I love the dynamic. But I guess society is right in this regard. Like men on Snapchat, they just want to fuck.
It's very objective. Yeah. It's very much like, you know, I'm not doing this to win you over. I'm doing this because this is where I'm at. And that's like, I guess there's no BS behind it. You know, there's a line drawn in the sand, but I just can't see it hitting the mark all the time.
No, and it's so stupid because, like, for me, I want to be on something like that to perform, to do art, you know, like I spread the news about my podcast. I take pictures of my dog and my lizard, like, or if we're together, you know, at a bar, like we'll snap a selfie.
A picture of everyone having a good time.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with that? You know, it's like, it's kind of like a live Facebook in a way, you know, like a live, like, who cares?
More dynamic, yeah.
Yeah, like, why does it have to be a sex thing?
I've missed touch with a lot of the internet on that, because even when it was back in the MySpace days, and it was where you could very well see the meet and see your top 10 friends or whatever, and you could have 2,000 friends, and all you could think is, man, this person's probably hooked up with a lot of people in those 2,000 friends that they've met.
Oh, God.
You know, because that was their first version of like a dating site, only it was social media. It was a social thing.
Jesus.
And I guess I could see it, and I would relate it to the same way to where I could see that being to where that could be the start of where people could objectify. Maybe at a young age where I still didn't have a fully developed brain, that might be something I'd want to have indulged in. At the same time, I was also at the point where I was like, I have things that I'm more interested in than go into the bathroom on somebody. I'd rather like get my degree. I'd rather try to do something with my life. I don't want to drag somebody into me being into my craziness. I don't want them to drag me into their craziness.
Even though that's a whole different subject, Jason, because you'll drag anyone into your craziness under the guise of not dragging them into their craziness.
Sometimes that happens. You try not to, and you end up going full crazy. You know, you go full hard.
And on that, pick another number.
All right, let's do another one. How about I let you pick the number? Just go for it.
We'll do one again, because I feel like there's a lot of goodies.
I trust you.
I don't trust me at all.
Here we go.
Oh, no. Let's see. This is perfect. Let's talk about the not all men conversation. When you hear that phrase, what comes up for you? How do you hold space for women's fear and anger while still talking about your own experience as a man?
So I guess not all men respond to women's anger with anger, maybe, but to learn how to be temperament and then actually be able to bring the situation into a more de-escalated or calmed or more civil thing. Not all men are capable of that either.
Yeah.
Not all men are capable of regulating their emotions.
That's the issue.
Not all men are capable of being honest with themselves. Not all men are capable of being able to tell the truth at a certain point. If you want to look at it from a mentally, like, got some type of defectiveness going on, they could just be straight up sociopathic liars.
It's true. And I think my favorite phrase from that is not all man, but a man. From my experience and from some statistics, but honestly, from my personal experience, yeah, sure, it's not all men, but it's a man. It's a man who has really, really fucked me up. It's a man who has crossed my boundaries. It's a man who sexually assaulted me. It's a man who raped me. It's a man who totally betrayed me. And I can tell you for a fact that every girlfriend that I have had has the same stories I do. Whether it's like, you know, here or there, like, you know, yeah, there's different stories, but they're all in the same line of it's a man.
It's a way more common story than people would believe. It's a point to where even when I recall talking to somebody, they're like, I'm terrified for my daughter because I just know that it's unavoidable. I have to do everything I can to just teach them how, and it's things that you don't teach boys, escape routes, you know, like how to get your quickest exit. Like little things like that
know
you
your
think
surroundings.
Yeah.
Carry your keys in your knuckles, you know, when you walk to your car. Like, I shouldn't have to be taught that.
Yeah.
You
it's
know,
unavoidable to a sense to where you have to understand as a man that all men have to deal with some other man really messing you up. Like, it could be your kid, it could be a family member, it could be a close, you know, anything, you know, it's messed up because it's that common. It's more common than people want to admit.
Have you had experiences with like telling another man to back off or to actually say like, hey, no, you're not right? Have you ever told yourself that, in fact?
I've almost gotten to a point to where, because you read that in people and you see how messed up they are, you have to distance yourself from them. I become more avoidant. I become more, I don't need that person in there. And when that comes down, it's also like, hey, keep your eye on this person. There's something off about him. I don't know if I would want him around my kids or.
Is that what you tell people? Because I'm trying to see, like,
I do it in a way where I'm like, if I have a bad vibe about someone or I think there's something like that going on,
you warn people.
It's a communicative thing, but at the same time, I'm not the one to look at them and go, hey, you're fucked in the head.
Right.
Like, I'm not the one that's going to confront them.
Right.
Usually.
And you're not diagnosing someone. You're just literally like, hey, I don't get a good vibe. And this wasn't cool. Because, like, my point of view is that I think the male loneliness epidemic, quote unquote, and like so many other things can be fixed by men themselves. We as women do not want to fix your fucking problems.
You shouldn't have to.
But at the same time, what do you do in this situation where a man is out of line? Like, if you're in a group of dudes and he's like, yeah, that bitch was hot. Like, I fucking put it up her ass even though she didn't want it. Like, you should be like,
at that point,
are you,
dude, just shut up.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I'm not interested or going to like give you accolades for something that's so stupid and sophomoric that
like, you should say something.
Yeah.
That's my point. You should say something. You shouldn't be like, oh, peace out. You should be like, dude, that's weird. You shouldn't think like that. Like, I don't know.
I've said to somebody before, hey, curve your language.
Oh, that's
cool. And then when they didn't get it, then I had to kind of get more stern and be like, hey, you need to shut the fuck up now. And that was different because it's a different thing. It's playing off of I'm already triggered because, I've also had to be the one to be like, no, you're not sitting here, dude. Have a nice night. And it's doing things like that it sucks. You feel horrible at the same time. It does
because it's your peer group and it's and it's like your quote unquote family because you're like a bar family. You know what I mean? Like it's your peeps. You're hanging out and you're trying to have a good time. But I think the most genuine small act of fighting misogyny and the patriarchy is having the men stand up, say, hey, I don't like that. That is weird to say, actually literally being like, no.
I've done it before. And I had to do it in a way where I had to be like investigative on it in order to verify that something had happened.
Right.
So when the guy tried to put it off and say that this is how it happened in his way, and then the lady immediately said that's not how it happened, I just went right at him. I'm like, oh, so she wanted it, huh? And so now I already started working him and beating him down. And then by the end, I'm like, do you at least not feel sorry? Do you not at least not admit that you'd make a mistake? And he was then immediately went into you're full of shit. That didn't happen. And it's like, no, you just told me, how am I full of shit if I'm calling you out for doing something?
That's the fucked up part.
And once he did apologize, all right, I'm sorry. I'm like, I shut up. But at that point, it's all awkward. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of other stuff that happened in between that where like I had basically was yelling outside and around the bar, hey, don't let your kids or your daughters or nieces be anywhere near this guy. He thinks it's okay to grab them. So, it was a thing where I just started calling him a groper. Now, after it all happened and it all went the way it went, you feel bad just like you would for calling anybody out. But there was also this really big ego boost. At that point, I'm feeding off of my own adrenaline. Who's to say that I'm right for feeling that way, but am I really wrong?
Well, do you feel right because you think you're macho, or do you feel right because you did the right thing?
I felt good because I broke this guy. I used my words and broke this guy. And even then, once I got what I needed, I knew that the next thing I do is just shut up, and now I'm not doing anything. It's run its course. But you're beaming with so much adrenaline, and you're just thinking, And everyone else, like, because even then I said, you know what, hey guys, sorry, I didn't mean to really make a scene on that. And it was like, oh no, that was awesome. That's great. Yeah, I hate that guy. So it worked out for my favor in that sense, but I didn't have any of the support of any of my bar peers when it happened.
No,
I had just heard the story from what the bartender had told me, and then when I asked him about it, he made it seem like, oh, she wanted it, like, oh, she was fine with this. She was leaning over and basically telling me to grab her.
God, I hate that so much. I hate that so much.
And I knew it was a bullshit lie, but since I caught him on it, he didn't want to admit it. Most narcissists aren't going to admit anything.
No, and it is very gray because, like, as a former and still probably a fawner, I'm a freezer and I'm a fawner.
Yeah.
I will fucking make you feel like you're wanted and you're allowed, but I don't want it.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do. And in survival mode, I'm like,
well, it's got to be rough for you females, because even if you're liking the attention, you still have to look and say, all right, back off, Fido. It's not like that. They instantly get drawn into where they can want to try to push more and more, and it becomes a violation of a boundary.
Exactly. And we're also taught to be a people pleaser. We're also taught to go with the flow. And we're also taught to freeze and bond because, like, if we fight, we might die.
Yeah, you don't want to get hurt. So that's like the big thing. People like want to say, oh, we're all equal. No, if a guy actually wants to try to fight a woman, there better be another man there to go ahead and stop it immediately. I mean, and it's one of the biggest things that I think everyone needs to understand is stay out of people's bubbles. Even if you are upset, you can talk it out. You can have a higher tone about it. But, you know, if it's going to go to being insulting or it's going to be degrading or you're going to look for anything as an intro to go ahead and just try to break somebody, you're not going to solve the problem that started this to begin with. Who knows? Maybe you're just the problem to begin with at that point.
Usually they are.
I mean, and that's the hard part. You can't reason with that. What are you feeling? Should we take a little break? We're right around the 42-minute mark.
Break.
All right. Well, guys, be sure to check out the 515 podcast with the Raven. She's got it dialed in. I really enjoyed this questioning. Hopefully you enjoyed issuing and dishing it out to me, and hopefully we do more of these.
Well, yeah. I'm the host, not you.
Yeah.
See you, break.
Yay. It's Raven again, popping in to close out this surface tension session. You'll hear us mention taking a break and coming back for more, but the night took us in a way different direction, and we decided to let the conversation land where it did. If something in this episode echoed for you, I'd love to hear what rose to the surface on your end. You can message me on socials or through the 515 site. Let me know what you're still thinking about. Thanks for being here and for letting these imperfect, honest conversations have a home. I'll see you on the next one.